The research vessel Horizon drifted silently near Jupiter's orbit. Its metal hull reflected the distant sun as it approached the strange object floating in space. Captain Maya Chun stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the main screen. "What is that thing?" she asked, leaning forward. Science Officer Patel adjusted his scanner. "Unknown. Not from Earth. Material composition doesn't match anything in our database." The object was small, about the size of a car, with curved edges that seemed to absorb light. Its surface had strange markings that looked like writing. "How long has it been here?" Chun asked. "Based on space dust accumulation, at least 300 years, Patel said. "Maybe longer." Chun tapped her fingers on the console. This discovery could change everything. First contact, proof of alien life. Her heart raced. "Bring us closer," she ordered. "Prepare the collection arm." The ship's engines hummed as they moved toward the artifact. Warning lights flashed on the bridge as they entered the object's proximity. "Captain, I'm picking up energy readings," said Navigator Wilson. "It wasn't doing that before." Chun frowned. "Is it reacting to us?" "Possibly." "The patterns are changing." The artifact began to glow with a faint blue light. The markings on its surface shifted and rearranged themselves. "Should we back off?" asked Wilson, his voice tight with worry. Chun hesitated. Her orders were clear. Investigate any potential alien technology. This was why they were here. But something felt wrong. "Let's get a sample first," she decided. "Deploy the arm." The mechanical arm extended from the ship's side. It moved slowly toward the artifact, its metal fingers opening. "Careful," Chun whispered, though the arm operator couldn't hear her. The moment the arm touched the artifact, a pulse of energy shot through the metal. The bridge lights flickered. Alarms blared throughout the ship. "What's happening?" Chun shouted over the noise. "It's activating," Patel yelled back. "The artifact is sending out a signal." On the screen, the object now glowed bright blue. It spun faster, emitting waves of energy that the sensors couldn't identify. "Cut it loose! Retract the arm!" Chun ordered. "I can't." "The systems are locked." The ship shuddered. Emergency lights bathed the bridge in red. The artifact's signal grew stronger, pulsing outward into deep space. "Who is it signaling?" Chun asked, her mouth dry with fear. Patel's face went pale as he stared at his readings. "The signal is powerful enough to reach the edge of our solar system. Maybe beyond. Shut it down." "We can't. It's using our ship's power somehow." For 3 hours the artifact continued broadcasting. Then, as suddenly as it started, it stopped. The blue glow faded. The ship's systems returned to normal. Chun ordered a full scan of space around them. Nothing unusual appeared. "Maybe it was just some automated response," Wilson suggested, relief in his voice. Chun wasn't convinced. "Keep monitoring all frequencies. I want to know if anything answers that signal." 6 days later, they got their answer. The alarm woke Chun from a restless sleep. She rushed to the bridge in her uniform pants and undershirt. "What is it?" "Massive object just appeared near Mars orbit," said the night officer, his face ghostly in the screen's light. "It wasn't there 3 minutes ago." The screen showed something impossible, a ship larger than any human vessel ever built. Its dark hull was covered with the same strange markings as the artifact. "Are they sending any communication?" Chun asked. Before anyone could answer, every screen on the bridge lit up with the same message, translated somehow into English. The United Space Coalition headquarters buzzed with frantic activity. Emergency lights pulsed along the steel corridors as military personnel rushed between stations. In the central command room, screens displayed the massive Zyrexian warship hovering near Mars. Tomas Reyes straightened his diplomatic uniform and took a deep breath. As the Coalition's chief negotiator, he had ended 3 space colony disputes. But this was different. This was aliens. "The shuttle is ready, sir," said his assistant, handing him a tablet. "The Zyraxians have sent docking instructions." Reyes nodded, his mouth dry. "What do we know about them?" "Almost nothing. Their ship is 5 kilometers long. Their weapon systems could destroy our entire fleet in minutes." General Park approached, her face tight with stress. "Remember, Reyes, your only job is to buy us time. The defense grid needs 48 hours to fully activate." "I understand," Reyes said, though his hands shook slightly. The shuttle ride to the alien vessel was silent. Reyes studied the limited data from Captain Chan's encounter with the artifact. The junior officer beside him, Ensign Malik, fidgeted with his collar. "First contact," Malik whispered. "I never thought I'd see it." The shuttle docked with a metallic clang. The airlock hissed open, revealing a corridor lit by strange blue lights. The air smelled like metal and something sweet. 3 Zyraxians waited for them. They stood over 7 feet tall, with gray skin that seemed to shimmer. Their 4 eyes blinked in uneven patterns. They wore what looked like armor made of flowing liquid metal. "Follow," one said in perfect English. Its voice sounded like several people speaking at once. They walked through curved hallways where the walls seemed alive, shifting and pulsing. Reyes noticed weapon emplacements every few meters. Guards watched them with cold eyes. The meeting chamber was vast, with a ceiling that displayed what looked like star maps. In the center stood a Zyraxian larger than the others. Its armor was more elaborate, with glowing symbols that matched those on the artifact. "I am Commander Vex of the Imperial Zyraxian Fleet," it said. "You have committed a grave offense against our empire." Rey stepped forward. "We meant no disrespect. We didn't know what the artifact was. Ignorance is not an excuse. The beacon of Zyrax is sacred. It was placed in your system to monitor primitive species." "We are peaceful," Reyes insisted. "We wish to establish diplomatic relations." The commander made a sound like grinding metal. "Your species is barely space-capable. You are not worthy of diplomatic status." Reyes felt sweat on his back. "Perhaps we could offer reparations?" A small table rose from the floor. On it sat a bowl filled with shimmering liquid. "This is the water of truth," Commander Vex said. "A ritual must be performed before negotiations can begin." Reyes nodded to Malik. "Observe carefully." The young ensign stepped forward, nervous but eager to help. As he leaned to look at the liquid, his hand brushed against the bowl. It tipped, spilling the contents onto the floor. The room went silent. The Zyraxians froze. "What happened?" Reyes whispered. Commander Vex's 4 eyes widened. The guards raised their weapons. "The sacred water," Vex said, voice vibrating with rage. "Spilled by human hands." "It was an accident," Reyes said quickly. "Please, we can replace it. The water of truth comes from our homeworld's ancient sea. It cannot be replaced." The commander's armor began to glow red. "This insult cannot be forgiven." Alarms blared throughout the ship. More guards entered the chamber. "You will leave now," Vex commanded. "Tell your leaders that the Zyraxian Empire considers Earth an enemy. We control 10,000 worlds. Your planet will be the next." As they were escorted back to their shuttle, Malik whispered, "What have I done?" Reyes had no answer. Through a viewport, he saw hundreds of smaller ships emerging from the massive warship. The Zyraxian fleet was preparing for war. "Captain," Chan stared at the emergency broadcast from Earth. The Zyraxian fleet had positioned itself between Earth and Mars. 50 warships against humanity's 23 defense vessels. "We need to get back," she told her crew. Full speed to Earth. The Horizon's engines strained as they pushed toward home. Chun paced the bridge, checking the radar every few minutes. The Zyraxians hadn't attacked yet, but their ships moved into attack formation. "Captain," called Officer Patel, "something's approaching from the dark side of Europa." Chun rushed to his station. "Zyraxian?" "No, different design." Smaller and faster. A sleek silver ship appeared on their screens. It matched no known human design. It moved directly toward the horizon, its engines leaving a blue trail. Evasive maneuvers, Sean ordered. Charge weapons. Before they could react, the ship matched their speed perfectly. A voice came through their comm system. Human vessel, do not fire. We are not your enemy. We offer help against the Zyraxians. Sean hesitated. Identify yourself. I am Commander Krell of Nyx. My people were the first to fall to the Zyraxian Empire. We have fought them for centuries. Why should we trust you? Because in 1 hour, the Zyraxians will begin their attack on your world. You need allies. Sean looked at her crew. Their faces showed fear and uncertainty. Permission to dock, she said finally. The Nyxian ship connected to their airlock. Sean met the visitors with armed guards. The airlock opened to reveal humanoid figures with pale blue skin and silver eyes. They wore light armor that seemed to shift colors. Commander Krell stepped forward. He was tall and thin, with scars across his face. Captain Shun, we have watched your people for years. We hoped you would never attract Zyraxian attention. Why? Because once they notice a world, they either conquer it or destroy it. They have done this to thousands of planets. Sean led them to the ship's conference room. The metal walls vibrated slightly as the engines pushed them toward Earth. How do you know my name? She asked. We monitored your encounter with the beacon. We have been hiding in your system, watching for Zyraxian activity. Krell placed a small device on the table. It projected a hologram of the solar system, showing the Zyraxian fleet positions. Their ships are stronger than anything you have. Your weapons cannot harm them. Chun's heart sank. Then we've already lost. Not necessarily. We have technology that can help. And we know their weaknesses. What do you want in return? Krell's silver eyes narrowed. The Zyraxians destroyed our homeworld. We want revenge. We want to see their empire fall. Warning alarms blared. Officer Wilson rushed in. Captain, the Zyraxians have launched fighters toward Earth's defense stations. The hologram showed small ships breaking from the main fleet. It's starting, Krell said. You must decide now. Will you trust us? Chun studied the alien's face. She had no way to know if this was a trap or salvation. What exactly are you offering? Krell touched his wrist device. The hologram changed to show strange technology. Weapons that can penetrate their shields. Communication scramblers to confuse their fleet. And most importantly, knowledge of their culture and beliefs. Their beliefs? The Zyraxians are powerful, but they are bound by ancient traditions and superstitions. This is how we have survived against them. Chun looked at the hologram of Earth, so vulnerable against the massive alien fleet. If we refuse your help, then your world burns today, Krell said simply. The Zyraxians do not forgive insults. The ship shuddered as distant weapons fire lit up space. Earth's outer defense satellites were already being destroyed. Chun made her decision. Tell me what we need to do. The coalition war room buzzed with frantic activity. Officers rushed between stations as screens displayed the approaching Zyraxian fleet. General Park slammed her fist on the table as another defense satellite went dark. We've lost the outer defense ring, she said. Our ships can't get close enough to engage. Captain Chun stood beside Commander Krell, both studying the battle map. The Nyxian's silver eyes reflected the red warning lights. Direct combat will fail, Krell said. We must use their beliefs against them. Chun nodded. Tell them the plan. Krell activated a small device. It projected ancient symbols that matched those on the Zyraxian ships. The Zyraxians follow a strict religious code, he explained. Their sacred texts speak of omens that will appear before their empire falls. Exactly. Their warriors will hesitate if they believe they face prophecy. Technicians rushed to modify Earth's remaining satellites. The Nyxian crew installed strange devices on human ships. Outside, the sky burned as distant explosions lit up space. "How do we know this will work?" asked Reyes, who had joined them from his failed diplomatic mission. "We don't," Sean admitted. "But we have no other options." The plan came together in hours. Projection systems were positioned throughout the solar system. The Nixians provided the exact symbols and images needed. "The first Zyraxian attack wave will reach Earth's atmosphere in 20 minutes, announced a radar operator. Sean checked her weapon. "Time to launch our countermove." She boarded a small stealth ship with Krell and a mixed team of humans and Nixians. Their mission was the most dangerous part of the plan. "Remember," Krell told them as they prepared to launch, "we only need to create doubt in their minds. Doubt will slow them down." The ship slipped away from Earth, using Nixian technology to avoid detection. Around them, space lit up as the first wave of Zyraxian fighters engaged Earth's defense ships. "Activate the projectors," Sean ordered. Across the solar system, massive holographic images appeared. Ancient Zyraxian symbols burned in space, visible to every ship in the fleet. The symbols matched exactly those described in their prophecies of doom. "They're slowing down," reported the pilot. "The first wave has stopped advancing." On the main communication channel, confused Zyraxian voices spoke rapidly in their language. "They're arguing about the signs," Krell translated. "Some believe it's a trick. Others fear divine punishment." The confusion spread through the Zyraxian fleet. Ships broke formation. Some turned back toward Mars. "It's working," Sean said, allowing herself a moment of hope. Then a massive energy beam cut through space. 3 Earth defense ships exploded instantly. "The Zyraxian flagship is still advancing," the pilot shouted. "They're not falling for it." On the screens, the enormous command ship pushed forward, leading a smaller group of loyal vessels. "They're targeting our projection systems," Krell said. "The commander knows what we're doing." Sean gripped her seat as their ship accelerated. "Then we moved to Phase 2. Get us to that flagship." "That's suicide," Reyes protested. "Their weapons will destroy us before we get close." "Not with this," Krell said, activating another Nixian device. Their ship shimmered and seemed to fade from view. "We can appear as space debris for 7 minutes. Enough time to reach the docking bay." The small ship raced toward the massive Zyraxian flagship. Around them, the battle raged. Earth ships fought desperately against the alien technology. The sky was filled with weapons fire and explosions. "What exactly is Phase 2? Reyes asked. Sean checked her weapon again. "We're going to meet the Zyraxian Emperor face to face." "The Emperor?" Reyes went pale. "The Emperor is on that ship?" "Yes," Krell confirmed. "And we're going to make him an offer he can't refuse." Their ship slipped between Zyraxian fighters, invisible to sensors. The enormous flagship loomed ahead, its weapons firing continuously at Earth's defenses. 30 seconds to entry, the pilot announced. "After that, we'll be visible again." Sean looked at her team. "Ready your weapons. But remember, we're not here to fight." "Then what are we here for?" Reyes asked. "To end this war," she said, with the oldest trick in the book. Their ship crashed through the outer defense shield of the Zyraxian flagship. Alarms blared as they skidded across the landing bay floor. The metal hull screeched against the deck before stopping near a row of alien fighters. "Move!" Chun shouted as the door blew open. "We have 2 minutes before security arrives." The team rushed out, weapons ready. Krell led them through service corridors he had memorized from old Nixian intelligence. The walls hummed with power. Red lights flashed as the ship's systems detected intruders. "This way," Krell whispered, pointing to a narrow passage. "The command center is 3 levels up." They climbed through maintenance shafts, avoiding the main hallways where guards patrolled. The ship shuddered as it fired its main weapons at Earth's defenses. "How much longer?" Reyes asked, breathing hard. "Almost there," Krell replied. A door slid open ahead of them. 2 Zyraxian guards appeared, weapons raised. Chon fired first. The Nixian weapon made no sound, but the guards fell instantly. Stun effect only, Krell explained. It lasts 10 minutes. They reached a massive door covered in the same symbols they had projected across space. Krell placed a small device against the lock. Once we're inside, I can only give you 5 minutes, he said. After that, the entire ship will lock down. The door slid open. They rushed into the command center. It was vast, with screens showing the battle around Earth. In the center stood a raised platform where a single figure watched the destruction. The Zyraxian Emperor was taller than the others, with armor that seemed to be made of living metal. His 4 eyes turned to them as they entered. "Humans," he said, his voice deep and cold, "you are brave to come here." Foolish, but brave. Guards moved to attack, but the Emperor raised his hand to stop them. "I am curious what drives you to such desperation." Chon stepped forward, lowering her weapon. "We came to offer you something." The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "What could you possibly offer me?" "Knowledge," Chon said. She nodded to Reyes, who opened a small case. Inside was a replica of the artifact they had found near Jupiter, but this one was covered in new markings. "We studied your sacred texts," Chon explained. "We learned your language and your customs." The Emperor stared at the object. "This is a copy of the beacon." "Yes, but we've added something to it." Reyes pressed a button. The replica glowed, projecting ancient Zyraxian text into the air. The guards stepped back, murmuring among themselves. "These are the lost verses of Kirax," the Emperor said, his voice suddenly uncertain. "How did you find them?" "We didn't," Chun admitted. "We created them based on your cultural patterns. We learned your ways and days, while you dismissed us as primitive." The Emperor was silent for a long moment. Around them, the battle continued on the screens. Earth's defenses were failing. "You created this to trick me," he said finally. "No," Chon replied. "We created it to show you something. We may not have your technology or your weapons, but we can learn. We can adapt. If you destroy us today, others will rise tomorrow." The Emperor stepped closer, examining the replica. "The craftsmanship is impressive," he admitted. "Few species master our language so quickly." "We're offering you a choice," Chun said. "Continue this war, and eventually face others who will learn your weaknesses. Or recognize us as equals worthy of respect." The command center fell silent. Even the guards watched their Emperor, waiting for his decision. Finally, he touched a control on his armor. The weapon's fire outside stopped. "In 10,000 years, no species has ever reproduced our sacred texts so perfectly," he said. "Perhaps there is more to humans than I first believed." He turned to his commanders. "Stand down all weapons. Open communication with Earth." Chun felt her legs weaken with relief. Reyes steadied her with a hand on her shoulder. "You have earned a rare thing today," the Emperor told them. "The respect of the Zyraxian Empire." As the ceasefire orders spread through the fleet, Chun looked at Krell. The Nixian's face showed a mix of shock and hope. "Is it over?" Reyes whispered. "No," Chun replied, watching the Emperor study their replica with growing interest. "I think it's just beginning."